Good morning, my dear students. Good morning, one and all. Welcome to the first session of the course. The topic name is cryptocurrency and the blockchain, and what they are and why they are important. Okay, first we need to talk about how do cryptocurrencies work. Basically, a cryptocurrency is a digital or virtual currency that's secured by cryptography. The blockchain technology underpins many cryptocurrencies, which are decentralized networks governed by a distributed ledger, and the cryptocurrencies are characterized by the fact that they aren't issued by any central authority, so they are theoretically immune to government interference. So, what about the cryptocurrencies and what do you need to know? Because the cryptocurrencies are digital or virtual currencies that are protected by cryptography, as I have explained that. So, they make online payments safe without involving third parties. These entries are secured using cryptographic techniques like elliptical curve encryption, public private key pairs, and hashing algorithms. You can mine your cryptocurrencies, but buy them for cryptocurrency exchanges or get rewarded for mining on a blockchain. And the cryptocurrency purchases aren't allowed on every e-commerce site because the Bitcoin, for example, is only used for retail transactions. However, the value of cryptocurrencies has made them popular for trading and investing mode. It's also possible to transfer money across borders with them. Okay, the next one is we need to talk about the blockchain. The blockchain technology is central to Bitcoin's appeal and the functionality. And the blockchains are just linked blocks of information on a ledger, as their name implies, because a block is a group of transactions that each validator on the network has independently verified. In an online ledger, the contents must be agreed upon by a network of individual nodes or computers, and each new block must be verified by each node before it can be confirmed. So several industries like supply chains and processes can benefit from blockchain technology. And experts says and blockchain technology is being tested by financial institutions like JP Morgan, Chase and Co, like JPM, to reduce the transaction cost. So we need to understand about the different type of cryptocurrencies available in the industry. The blockchain that many cryptocurrencies are built on facilitates work on the blockchain, and Ether, for example, can be used to pay for blockchain validation work. So, the Ethereum, like short code is ETH, inherited an extra duty as the blockchain's stake mechanism after proof of stake transitioned in the year of September 2022. A bank can use the XRP to transfer money between different countries using Ripple. So, the cryptocurrencies come in all kinds. So, it's very important to understand them because the cryptocurrencies without a purpose are likely to be riskier than ones with the utility. So it's important to understand if the coin you are looking at has a purpose. Currencies are usually described by their names. The names of coins differ from the types of coins, though there are a lot of types of tokens in that category. Here are some examples I would like to explain here. So two examples of utility tokens are XRP and ETH because each blockchain has a specific function, and according to the payment tokens, like tokens that can be used to make payments, most people know about the Bitcoin process. And on a blockchain such as Uniswap, these tokens represent voting rights. The tokens support applications built on a blockchain like Solana. And you know that a security token is a token that represents ownership of an asset like a stock, and the value transfer to be the blockchain process. And a securitized token like MS token are one example here, because you can get a partial ownerships of the Millennium share if you find one for sale. You have found a new category or something, you need to investigate if it's not one of these. So do cryptocurrencies make good investments? We need to discuss now. The Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies have a reputation as unstable investments due to scams, hacks, and bugs. So despite the underlying cryptography being safe, and new users may be intimidated by the technical complexity of using and storing crypto assets. So speculative assets come with a whole bunch of risk, including these we need to discuss now. The cryptocurrency transactions can't be reversed or cancelled once they have been sent, unlike traditional finance. So one-fifth of bitcoins are inaccessible because of lost passwords or incorrect addresses, and according to some estimates. And a lot of governments are trying to regulate cryptocurrencies as securities. Currencies are both. The market-wide price drops could be caused by a sudden regulatory crackdown, and engages with the exchanges and custodians are often used by investors and merchants to store their crypto. It's very possible to lose your entire investment if one of these third parties steals it. And the lack of coherent regulations makes it hard to protect against deceptive or unethical management practices. So investing in management teams that don't deliver has cost many investors a lot of money. The movement of user deposits is controlled by automated smart contracts on many investment and lending in platforms. So investors who use one of these platforms assume the risk of losing their money if their program has a bug or exploit. So people, organizations, and exchanges that act unethically still manipulate the market in cryptocurrency model. So with a market capitalization of over $1 trillion, cryptocurrencies have seen a major rise in prices despite these risks. In spite of the speculative nature of the asset, some people have been able to make a fortune investing in early stage cryptocurrencies. So how does blockchain technology work? We have to discuss now. The business networks can share transparent information with the blockchain technology. Blocks of data are stored in a blockchain database. So data is chronologically consistent because the chain can't be deleted or modified without network consensus. So the blockchain technology makes it easy to track orders, payments, accounts, and other transactions with an immutable ledger. In the system, there are built-in mechanisms that prevent unauthorized transactions and make sure everyone sees the same thing. So what is blockchain's role in different industries? We have to discuss. The blockchain is an emerging technology being adopted by a lot of industries in an innovative way. The following subsections we will talk about some use cases in different industries. The number one is energy sector. The blockchain technology streamlines renewable energy access and creates peer-to-peer energy trading platforms. Take a look at these examples. The electricity can now be traded between individuals on a blockchain-based platform. It's a platform that lets homeowners sell their excess solar power to their neighbors. Because the transactions are created by smart meters and the blockchain records them. So the blockchain-based crowdfunding initiatives let users sponsor solar panels and own them in communities that don't have power. So once the solar panels are built here, sponsors may also get rent from the communities. So the next industry we need to discuss about the finance. The online payments, accounts, and trading are all managed by blockchain services in traditional financial systems. So blockchain technology, for example, is being used by Singapore Stock Exchange Limited to build an interbank payment account that's more efficient. They solved several problems by adapting blockchain, like batch processing and manual reconciliation. So what about the media and entertainment industry? We have to discuss. The copyright data is managed by blockchain systems in media and entertainment. So fair compensation for artists depends on copyright verification. The copyright content is sold or transferred in multiple transactions. To make digital rights management more efficient, from some example we can say here, like Sony Music Entertainment Japan uses the blockchain services. Using blockchain strategy, they have been able to reduce cost and improve their productivity. So what about the retail world? We have to discuss. Blockchain tracks goods between suppliers and buyers for retail companies. A patent has been filed by Amazon Retail for a system that uses blockchain technology to verify the authenticity of all goods sold on the platform. A certificate authority allows Amazon sellers to map their global supply chains by allowing manufacturers, couriers, distributors, end users, and secondary users to log events. So can you tell me what blockchain technologies we have to discuss? There are a lot of features to blockchain technology. The number one is the decentralization movement. In blockchain, decentralization refers to the transfer of control from a centralized entity like individual, group, or organization to a distributed network. Because the transparency is used in decentralized blockchain networks to reduce trust between participants. because the participants in these networks also can't exert authority over each other in ways that degrade the network's functionality. And next will be on unchangeability. A thing that can't be changed or altered is immutable. The shared ledger can't be tampered with once a transaction has been recorded. The network can be see both transactions if there is an error in a transaction record. So what about its consensus? The blockchain system requires a consent from participants to record transactions. Recording new transaction requires the consent of the majority of network participants. The next we need to discuss about can you tell me what the key components of blockchain technology are? There are three main components to blockchain architecture we have to discuss. It's a distributed ledger and contracts with smarts and cryptographic using public keys. We need to discuss one by one. The first one is it's a distributed ledger. The distributed ledgers are shared databases in blockchain networks that store transactions like a shared file everyone can edit. Everybody with editing rights can delete a file in most shared text editors. There are strict rules about who can and how can edit the distributed ledgers. Once an entry is recorded, you can't delete it. Now, according to the contracts with the smarts, the smart contracts allow companies to self-manage business contracts without help from a third party. It's a program that runs automatically when predetermined conditions are met in the blockchain system. Because the transactions are completed confidently by running if then checks, smart contracts can be used by logistics companies to automatically pay once goods arrive at ports. According to the cryptography using public keys, the using public key cryptography, blockchain participants can be uniquely identified here because for each member of the network, two keys are generated here. Everyone in the network has the same public key. Other than that, every member has a private key, so data in the ledger can only be unlocked with the private and public keys. So what about the blockchain networks and what are they? In the blockchain, there are four types of decentralized or distributed networks. Because the blockchain networks for public use, there are no permissions on public blockchains, so everyone can join. The blockchain is open to all members and can be read, edited, and validated by any member. Because the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin are the most popular cryptocurrencies traded and mined on public blockchains. And networks for private blockchains we have to talk because the blockchains that are managed by one organization are called private blockchains. So members and their rights in the network are determined by the authority. And there are access restrictions on private blockchains, so they are only partially decentralized. A private blockchain is like Ripple, and which exchanges digital currencies for businesses. And what about the networks with hybrid blockchains we have to talk? And public and private blockchains are combined in hybrid blockchains, we can say here, because the private permission based system can go along with the public ones. So keeping the rest of the data public allows them to control access to specific data on the blockchain. Members of the public can check if private transactions have been completed using smart contracts. A hybrid blockchain, for example, would let the public access digital currency while keeping bank-owned currency private. So what about the blockchain networks for consortiums? The consortium blockchain networks are governed by a group of organizations. A select group of organizations maintains the blockchain and decides who gets access to the data. Often, consortium blockchain networks are preferred by industries with many organizations sharing goals and responsibilities. Because the blockchain consortiums like Global Shipping Business Network Consortium are not for the profits that digitize the shipping industry and make it easier for them to collaborate. Okay, why is blockchain technology so cool? Asset transaction management gets a boost from blockchain technology. The following subsection list a few we have to talk now. Number one is secured with advanced technology. Because the modern digital transactions need high levels of security and trust. Because the blockchain provides that, the software is always at risk of being manipulated to generate fake money. So blockchain, on the other hand, uses cryptography, decentralization, and consensus to create a safe, secure, and nearly impossible to hack underlying software system. So one user can't change the transaction records, and there is no single point of failure. According to the efficiency increase we have to discuss, because especially when compliance and third-party regulatory bodies get involved, business-to-business transactions can take a long time. These business transactions are faster and more efficient with the blockchain transparency and smart contracts. And auditing faster, it means any transactions must be generated, exchanged, archived, and reconstructed securely by enterprises. Because the blockchain records are chronologically immutable, so all records are always chronologically arranged. It makes auditing much faster because of this data transparency. So how are databases and blockchains different? We have to discuss. The blockchains are special database management system that have more features than a regular database. Here's what makes a blockchain different from a traditional database process. Because a blockchain decentralizes control without affecting existing data trust, unlike other databases. This is not possible, but companies can't share their entire database during a transaction. The blockchain networks, however, have each company's own ledger, and the system keeps the ledgers consistent automatically, because the blockchains don't allow editing or deleting data, only in the inserting process. So what's the difference between blockchain and the cloud? We have to discuss. It's a very important concept you have to focus. Because a cloud is a place where you can access computing services online. From the cloud, you can get software as a service like a SaaS, product as a service PaaS, and infrastructure as a service IaaS. So you can access these computing resources over the internet because cloud providers manage their hardware and infrastructure. You need to provide your own hardware resources if you want to join a public blockchain network. A cloud server would work too, and you can also get blockchain as a service like a BaaS from some cloud providers. So finally, we need to talk about how does blockchain as a service work. In the cloud, a third party provides a blockchain as a service like BaaS. So while the cloud provider provides the infrastructure and the tools, you can build your blockchain apps and digital services. Because the blockchain adoption can be made faster and easier by customizing your existing technology mode. That's why we have to understand about the blockchain as a service work. Okay, my dear students, I hope you have enjoyed the introduction session of the topic like cryptocurrency and blockchain and what they are and why they are important. Thank you once again, and thank you all.